So, hello everybody from rainy Germany. Um, this is TPLA Night Razor. Welcome here at Terra Prime Light Armory. Today's show is about the cornerstones of online training. As this whole series, Summer Saber Cyber School, is also about getting to know all the personnel involved with TPLA. Let me do a quick introduction. Afterwards, I will talk about my experience with online training, and then we will have time for some Q&A. If you have questions, put them into the comments, and I will see to them afterwards. So, I am Michael from Germany. I have been training with TPLA as one of the first apprentices in the system. I think since 2012 was my first contact with TPLA, so almost 8 years. Lightsaber is my first martial art. So I had, when entering TPLA, no prior experience in any other martial art. I worked through the curriculum without a partner, so I was guided online by my mentors. So I wasn't only an online student, I was a solo online student. And in 2018, I was at TPLA headquarters visiting Master Anonymous, and there I crossed blades for the first time. And yeah, and recently I was knighted after passing the trials, becoming a full instructor in the TPLA system. So let me just see if so I do not miss the comments. Starting already, great. So you can say I am a pure product of TPLA online solo training. And today I want to tell you something about my experience and what I see as the cornerstones of online training. So this is important. My experience means online training is a very individual thing. So it depends on many things. It depends on why you do it, so your goals. It depends on the experience you already have, on being where you are in the system. Are you a beginner in the system? Are you an apprentice? Are you a knight? It is dependent on the time you can and want to put into things, your personal fitness level, and of course your surroundings. Where is your training ground? Do you have to drive somewhere, or can you just go outside and do something? So all these things determine your very own conditions for online training. So my conditions are totally different from yours, I am sure. That being said, if you answered those questions, why, where, and if you answered those questions wrong for yourself, then frustration is bound to happen. Be honest with yourself and regularly re-evaluate your answers to those questions. So we are all in a different place concerning these basic conditions. This is why we at TPLA, with small exceptions, don't have time schedules for things. So everyone should be able to go at his or her speed through the material. And it can take you 7 months to become a full night instructor, and it can take 7 years And that's exactly the way we want to look at things. Once you have become an official part of TPLA, though, we certainly expect you to submit your training progress regularly and keep in touch. But there is no deadline or such thing to meet. It takes how long it takes. So what can online training do and what not? Master Anonymous has already covered this question in one or two videos. It can train your body to do things that it couldn't do before. Stances, motions, endurance, balance, all this stuff can be trained solo with online guidance. It can teach the basics of weapon combat, and it can build up understanding of the principles of weapon combat. It can even prepare you for entering sparring or competition. But it cannot train you to fight if you are a solo online student. Only fighting trains fighting. So for that you might need an instructor near you. So the cornerstones of online training, my cornerstones of online training. First cornerstone, the material and the study material. First and most important material for you all. Oh yes, very good. I had to mirror it because I'm using the front camera of my smartphone, so yeah, that's good. The formula videos. So each pillar, each form has its formula videos. You always start with the formula primer, where the basic stuff of the whole formula is presented. The strikes, the footwork, the stances. It is all laid out there. Watch these videos. Redo these videos. And try to get feedback on the formula primer, because this is where it all starts, and this is where you can correct your mistakes pretty easily in the beginning. The further you go, the harder it gets to get rid of bad habits. So the formula primer is the thing you should go into and really have an intensive look at. Next are the accelerations, part 2 of the formula videos. Certain drills where you exercise some important aspects of the form before you go into the Dulon. The Dulon is where all of this is linked together. People are drawn to these Dulons. I was too, and I can totally understand that. Be careful though that you have your basics from the primer and the accelerations down before you go into Dulon. When you have trained the Dulon, when you're really into it, it is very hard to get things corrected. So be sure that you go in that one after the other. And last of the formula videos, primer, accelerations, Dulon, are the velocities. The velocities are the two-person exercises where you can really apply all these things that you have learned before. So all these videos are tutorials, so they really tell you what to do if you look close enough. When you watch the tutorials, let it be an acceleration. Ask yourself, what is he doing? And from my personal experience from the beginning, don't only look at the blade. Yes, it is sword play, but look, what are his feet doing? I know that it took me a couple of weeks before I even noticed in the beginning that Master Anonymous had feet and they were doing something in that video. So what are his feet doing? Where is he facing? What is his body positioning, body movement? Do I recognize a stance or a strike or a footwork pattern that I have looked at before? Look at all these things while you are doing video study, and then go outside and film yourself redoing it, and you will be surprised how different it may look. And that's the essence of it. If you have difficulty with a specific movement within an exercise or a Doulon, isolate it, train it specifically, and then get feedback on it. I will come to that in a moment. And when you have the movements down, then you can ask yourself, why is he doing what he is doing? What is the purpose, and what is the essence of what and how does it feel? And if you can't answer these questions, that's the point to ask someone, to get along. So that's part one of my material and study tips. Second, TPLA fighting words. I strongly recommend that for everybody. It's the blog on the homepage, Terraplane Light America. In this blog, you find kind of the form 1, 2, 3, and 4. For all 4 pillars, you find an overview and an in-detail analysis of each form. This is my place, my go-to place, if I want to look something up or want to understand something concerning the 4 pillars. It is, this is where you find everything together. Even the videos are linked there. So this is a place to go when you go into a forum and want to have and are looking for all the information about it. So, TPLA Fighting Words blog on my homepage. Next, of course, you all know that the YouTube channel, it is filled with tons of videos for each form, for training tips, for everything. Very important for me are the videos where certain parts of a Doulon or of an acceleration are isolated and explained again in depth. So they are add-ons for the curriculum part. These are very, very important. Because there you will find answers there to questions you will have when you look at the primer acceleration stuff. So this is a place to go to look for things. You can spend months watching all the videos there, but I'm sure you already know that. And last but not least, material study, feedback. Of course, for you, the most precious thing is when you get individual feedback on something you have done and you have shown. When you are a beginner at the moment, the TPLA LX Facebook page is a place to go. As an apprentice, you have the forum where in contact with the instructors. So get your feedback and work on these things. Work on the things you're getting feedback before you add other things. That way we can see you are receptive to our advice, you know, and this is the most precious thing you can get. Also, before you, there have been many others who had feedback on their form. So this also is a precious source where you can look at. So this you can find that at on the forum, where every apprentice or whatever has left his log there. This is a place to where you can also see how did the others do what I am about to do. So go check the forum. If you have any problems, just message me. So that is part one of the pillars, material and study. Let me just check if there are questions on this specific part. Hello, Georgia. Yeah. Hello, Eric. Hello, Justin. Hello, Becky. Nice to have you all here. Can you show your equipment specs? Well, the online training met your instructor testing qualifications. So I'm not sure I do understand that question. Equipment specs. Jody, maybe you can specify that equipment spec. I don't know if you mean my lightsabers or if you want to see the fitness, the kettlebells and such things. Maybe you can specify it. Basics down, yes, basics down. What might a day of training look like for Darth Razor? This is exactly the thing that I want to cover at the end of exactly this show. Do you train fitness and technique separately? Yes, I do. I will come to that also. How was your first experience crossing blades, and how did it differ from what you had anticipated? That's a long story. I think maybe when we have time afterwards, I can tell you something about that, but I could talk for the evening about that. Did you train both sides of the body? Yes. Yes, I do. Afternoon. Yes, very well. I use a tripod. Oh, yeah, Jody, you mean, yeah. Yes, I'm using a smartphone with a tripod. Exactly. I can put it everywhere. It worked for me so far. Well, very well. Material and study is the first pillar of my tips today. The second, of course, and you have already asked for it, training and training units. What am I training? What would I say is a good way to structure your training? So when we talk about training, there are several things that you should do that work for me. So first thing, stance training. This sucks. It really does. But it is the most beneficial thing you can do to get swordplay going. Swordplay is in the legs and in the feet. So you need to get your stances down. Dubek rider stance. Yeah. Sitting there for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. training lower stances, the drop stance, getting in and out of these stances, because you don't want to, it's not the goal to be there and to hold it. The goal is to get in and out of these stances pretty quick and pretty stable without falling on your whatsoever. Stretching is something that that is also done with stances, with stance training. Very important for me because I wasn't very flexible when I started that thing. I have my limits now, but stance training helped me a lot. Second training unit, workout. Yes, I do workout. I do complete body workout, so not only the dominant side. I only train, I have the saber in my dominant hand. I don't switch hands. That's not what I do. Except for one or two. No, I don't. I don't. But I train my whole body. I try to do workout with saber and workout without saber. This is something I will cover next week in depth, and I will show some exercises I'm actually doing that help me a lot. But just so you know, workout with a saber that you can do inside are the honor sesh from Chicho. You can do orbits as an exercise, moon guards from Makashi, Suma. This is all stuff that you can do workout wise when you're inside. Without a saber, I mainly do body weight exercise, so everything I can do without weights, push-ups, pull-ups, squats, squat jumps, such things, and kettlebell. Kettlebell has been very important for me, and I can totally recommend that for sabering. Again, this will be covered next week in depth. So, last part of my training tips and also part of my training routine, of course, going outside and training accelerations, Dulon, and if I can, velocities. Yeah. This is what most of you that are attracted to lightsaber, that this is what you're doing. Yeah, be careful to do all the stuff that I have mentioned before, and get feedback from yourself, and you are fine. So these are my kind of training pillars. Yeah, stance training, workout, and do the technique training outside. Yeah. So, next very important pillar, be sure you know your goals. Yeah, as with everything, we need to have a feeling of success if we do not want to lose interest in something. And this is why it is so important to set yourself realistic goals for the short term, for the middle term, the long term. And this, of course, is connected with the question, why am I doing all this? So it's a difference. Do I want to have fun wielding lightsaber? Do I want to learn some fast and quick techniques and be happy with doing some varied exercises for myself and joining the community? Or do I want to get involved with TPLA? Do I want to become an instructor of the system sometimes? So these are totally different goals that need totally different approaches, of course. So, so your goals. You can set your goals in all of these little pillars I have just mentioned. Stances. You can work to get your stances lower as a middle term goal. You can work on holding the do-back rider stance for a minute longer tomorrow as a short-term goal, and so on. With your workout, totally so. Yeah, 2 push-ups more today. Maybe next month I will be at 50 or something like that. And of course, curriculum. Where am I in the curriculum? What do I want to achieve in the curriculum? What do I want to tackle next? Where am I? These are the goals. You should be clear for yourself. And don't forget, there's a big picture behind of all of this. Each exercise is teaching you a certain skill. Each form is teaching you a different mindset. And all of it combined sets the foundation for understanding swordplay. So, when you're doing a particular exercise, not only try to replicate it, search for its meaning in the system. Look out for specific things these exercises want to teach you. And be aware that it is all connected and builds on each other. So this is important when you set your curriculum goals. Okay, last but not least, last pillar for me, before I can talk about my personal schedule and your questions. Time management. This is a crucial skill when you're online training, because you don't have your regular training hours like when you're at a school or something like that. You're solely responsible to schedule your training. And we all have a full life to live, and all our lives look different. So a failure in planning realistically and honest leads to frustration, because we always have the feeling that we have not done as much, as often, or whatsoever as we would have liked to. So frustration will lead you to giving up on you and your training eventually. So this is a very individual decision how to train, and it's dependent, as I said, do I need to drive to a place where I can train, or can I just go outside whenever I want to? So if you need to go somewhere, of course you need to take your time and can put all your exercises and energy there. What I can do, because I just have to go outside in the garden, what I can do is I can do kind of a modular training system. I have sets I can do for 15 or 20 minutes, and I can do them whenever I want to. So whenever a spot opens, I can go into it and do the next thing I want to do. So I can recommend that very much. It is a personal decision. Some of you know with workout that you do a big workout one day and then you have 3 times rest or something like that. I try to do workout every day if I can, but not for a long time, just for 15 minutes or so with varied exercises. And that works for me. So to give you an idea of how, because that was the question, how my training routine at the moment looks like, it's the following. When I wake up in the morning, I'm brewing a pot of coffee, and then I'm doing stance training and stretching before breakfast. 15 minutes do-back rider and some stretching, stance training while I'm sipping my coffee. So, however the day goes, I have already something in my pocket that I have done for me and my training. That is important for me, for my mind. Then when I go outside to work out with the saber or to get some cardio going, it takes me about 20 minutes to go through each acceleration and Dulon of each of the four pillars. So this is a set for me that I'm doing at the moment to really get back into these things for 20 minutes. So Chicho accelerations, Dulon, and then Makashi acceleration and Dulon, and something like that. Next bit of my daily routine are 15 to 20 minutes workout, kettlebell, body weight workout. And the last module at the moment, I told you it's important to isolate things and to intensify your training in a certain aspect. What I'm doing at the moment is circular walking. That is my special focus, where I try to put another 15 minutes a day into. Important is this is my ideal training structure for the day. So there are days I cannot do all of it. That's in the nature of things. But it's because I already have something that I have done, it's not that big a problem. Because the next day I can switch and do something I have not done the day before, and this pretty much works for me, and maybe it can work for you too. So this would be my overview and my experience and all the things I can share concerning online training. Let me have a quick look at your questions. Where have I? Oh my God. Yes, since we are talking online training, how did you set up your training equipment that met your training needs? Well, I think we've covered that. There is a camera, a sword or substitute, and I actually purchased kettlebells because I did not want to go somewhere else to do workout. And you see, for pull-ups, I can do them. That's pretty much everything for equipment that you need. Hi, Cedric. Footwork. Yes, footwork is important. Footwork is the most important thing. Stance. Yes. What do you do both sabering and body weight training as one session, or you schedule separate sessions? With my workout body weight training and sabering, I actually do separate sessions most of the time. What I do combine, of course, is stance training with the others, because stance training is a pretty good warm-up for me, whether I go into a workout afterwards or sabering outside. So these are things that I combine, but I usually do not do strength training and sabering together. It has happened, of course, but I don't. Is it good to set yourself on a timeline? That is a very individual question. It helps me to set timelines, to look at the days the days to come and where are my spots, and also with the goals that you set for yourself. So I do set timelines for myself. Yes, I do. How do you know for sure you have successfully accomplished a skill and technique? That's an easy question when your master tells you you have. That's an easy one. When you are an online student with no one to look at you, that is the only thing you can go with. Yeah. If your master tells you you have accomplished a skill and technique to a certain level, because we're talking about levels here, you can always go further with every technique, yeah, then you have. I have to. Is your necklace from Lord of the Rings? Yes, it is. Yes, and it is Underhill hanging back there, and it's also, I always forget the name of the ring, but yeah, it is. I'm sure he's going. Tell about the first time you sparred. That was a good question. Yeah. Yes, I will. So, after 6 years of solo online training, I went to Michigan to meet Master Anonymous. And first day was sparring day with steel blades. And what can I say? It was something completely different from what I had done before. As a solo online learner, you are not used to seeing somebody coming at you with speed, with a heavy object, with the intention to hit you. That is something you cannot prepare for. It is just something completely different. That is the first thing. The second thing, did my training help me in this situation? Yes, of course it did. Yeah. There were some basic things I knew I can do, and I tried to do. But as I said, it was something completely different, because you don't have time to think what you're doing next. When you're doing things on your own, you can take all the time you need. You can go over things. You can, if you don't do something the way you intended to, no problem. You don't get smacked on your head. Well, in actual sparring, you do a lot. On the head. So in this situation, I realized what I can achieve as a solo online student and what I cannot achieve that way. So but again, there are things that you can do that help you getting into this faster, because when you have trained your body doing all these things, it is all in you. Yeah, you must learn to apply it in that situation, and that takes time, I'm sure. Yeah, but it takes less time than when you don't have that kind of training under your belt. So yeah, that was really a good experience, and maybe last thing I want to say to that is my fascination with sword and swordplay in the beginning wasn't fighting. It was just moving with a sword. That was my that was what drew me into things. When I read fantasy books and the hero was training and moving through his forms, that was the thing I wanted to do in my garden, you know. But since I was in at TPLA headquarters, I do want to fight, and I do want to spar, and I want to learn how to use all that stuff that I have done before. And there are certain things that you can only learn in a sparring situation. Yeah, distance and this is something that is very hard to learn on your own online. But again, if you get your techniques down, it is a huge help and a good preparation before entering a sparring or a competition situation. So, I hope that I have covered all your questions here. Thank you very much for joining me today, and we will see next week when I want to go over the workout exercises that I would strongly recommend for savoring. Maybe I can show one or two and talk about the others. We will see. Oh, there's a last question. How did you set your relationship with your master? Telephone calls, video submissions, video teleconferences? How frequently did you interact? Yeah, that's of course a good question. Jeff Macklin was my tutor the night I was paired with, and we had a thread on our forum where we interacted. So he gave me his feedback on the video submissions that I presented there. He gave me additional things to do, to record or to think about, and all the interaction went there. So mainly submitting a video, getting feedback, working on the feedback, submitting a new video. That was the way I worked through the curriculum. Again, isolating some crucial points within an exercise also helped a lot to work on some very special, specific things until you got it down. I don't know how many months I spent circle walking. And here I'm back at it again. So so that was the way that how it was working at the forum. Yeah. And the occasional teleconference, of course. Yeah. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. All right. Well, then thank you for your interest. I hope it helps you to structure or think about your own training. If you have any questions, you can always ask me, and see you next week. Happy savoring.